People say, "You will die alone." Why is that statement used to instill fear or worry? Surely, among a man's greatest achievements is to be content with solitude. People speak of solitude as if it's a sad state to be in. I don't understand why their fear of being alone causes them to be uncomfortable with others who have no problem with seclusion. If you consider a remote wilderness, an isolated mountain, or a desolate shore, these aren't sad images. These are the places people are drawn to find peace and tranquility. Undisturbed landscapes, away from the stress and worry of the rat race. As MGTOW, we've chosen solitude over the uncertainties of today's unrewarding and often dangerous relationships. The misconception is that we've chosen loneliness. As a result of choosing to spend more time alone, we can become more self-aware. Nobody tells us how to think, speak, or behave. And nobody tells us how not to think, speak, or behave. We are free. And as Arthur Schopenhauer said, a man can be himself only so long as he is alone. And if he does not love solitude, he will not love freedom. For it's only when he is alone that he is really free. Loneliness is a state of isolation imposed on a person by the rejection of people in the world outside. The lonely man appears to have something missing from his life. But solitude is a self-imposed state, allowing us to reflect inwards. Without time taken for introspection, a man is unable to observe his own mental and emotional state. Maybe this is what we mean when we say that someone is losing their mind. They feel the need to get away. Being able to enjoy your own company is a positive attribute and a great strength. There's no need to seek recognition or validation for achievements, and sharing experiences isn't always necessary. A solitary pursuit can be a test of yourself and a chance to get to know who you really are and what you're capable of. People forget that some of the loneliest people are surrounded by others, but they are still alone. Surely they should first learn to enjoy their own company, so that they can experience life and feel a sense of achievement, fulfillment, or happiness without depending on other people. Your best friend should be yourself. If you can't be happy in your own company, then there must be a degree of self-loathing. Solitude is a chance to heal and restore our minds. Loneliness is damaging and detrimental. Contemplation requires peace and time, so that we can cultivate a deeper understanding of the world around us. Maybe that's why people try to make us worry about being alone. The only time a man can be himself is when he's alone. People are social animals by nature and can't completely isolate themselves from human interaction. That line of thinking would just be a defense mechanism. But to live without the ability to successfully maintain and benefit from periods of solitude could also be seen as a weakness in a man. If we look at the most extreme example of isolation, which is probably punishment in the form of prolonged solitary confinement, it's clearly damaging to a man to be denied all forms of social interaction. He will, among other things, lose touch with reality. But social interaction isn't always beneficial to a man. In fact, it's often very damaging. Relationships with women are by no means healthy or productive in today's current climate. So there needs to be a balance. Children can be fun and often challenging when they're around, but it's not adult company. Friends and relatives can be there sometimes, but if you live alone, there will often be nobody, or just a dog for companionship, man's best friend. These are the times when we are alone. But what we do with that time and how content we are with our own company is one of the key factors to successful autonomy. Being emotionally dependent on others could mean that when you need to be independent, you will fail. You will always need encouragement or a pat on the back, and you will be forever looking for someone to lean on. If there's nobody there, you may turn to self-destructive habits as a means of coping or escaping. You are not free. You can't survive alone. This doesn't mean that you can never turn to somebody in a desperate situation. But it does mean that we should overcome dependency so that we can be emotionally free. If we're emotionally attached to a person or thing, we're giving them too much importance. Our own needs should come first, or they will never be attended to. If you believe that someone or something will make you happy, then your happiness lives or dies with that person or thing. These constant disappointments can lead to a permanent state of apathy and nihilism. Your happiness is dependent on you knowing yourself and taking care of your own wants and needs. The best way to begin this new life is to spend time alone and get to know yourself. Because if you make friends with yourself, you'll never be alone. Self-talk, or internal conversations, are the constant inner monologues that evaluate our everyday lives, the voice inside our heads. When we're alone, that voice could convince us that we'd be better off somewhere else, or doing something else, or maybe in the company of someone else. These are times when we need to question the self-talk and ask where it's coming from. Is it positive or negative? Is it telling us to give up and possibly make bad decisions? Or is it giving us good advice that will have a beneficial outcome? Is that self-talk maybe telling you to call that toxic individual because you need company? Or is it telling you to have another drink and deal with your problems tomorrow? Do you need time alone to listen to yourself and see where this inner voice has been taking you all this time? People talk about journeys of self-discovery and often associate these journeys with spirituality, soul-searching, or some kind of epiphany being the end result. I see self-discovery as just being a chance to meet yourself and understand who you are, what you're afraid of, what makes you happy, and in the long term, which direction you want to take your life in. Being alone with yourself sometimes means that you will have to revisit old memories and be forced to feel the associated emotions again. It's a chance to accept that these things happened. Avoiding acceptance means that you will have to live with painful memories and the emotions attached for the rest of your life. Sitting in silence and facing up to what has happened is your only chance to do this. We're still here, and may be around for many years to come, decades even. The painful lessons in life made us who we are. They didn't break us. We're still here, stronger and more aware. We should be thankful for the lessons we've learned. Pain is a great teacher, but a stubborn student will prolong his own suffering if he doesn't learn to accept it and move on. It's only when we're alone that we can be fully responsible for everything that happens to us. One last quote before I close this video from Robin Williams. I used to think that the worst thing in life was to end up alone. It's not. The worst thing in life is to end up with people who make you feel alone. Thanks for listening.